Compliance is not just about healthcare billing. Billing is the end result of many activities that must accurately be communicated for proper billing to occur. You can support accurate billing in the following ways: knowing your department's policies and procedures, performing your work accurately, documenting timely and accurately, admitting your mistakes so they can be corrected, not covered up, letting management know if a process does not make sense, notifying your supervisor or manager of any concerns you have, following PHS's Code of Conduct. In other words, doing the right thing. Remember, if something doesn't make sense, speak up and ask questions. The Code of Conduct is an integral part of our formal compliance program with the intent to communicate PHS's values and standards of ethical business. In many situations, the legal and ethical action will be obvious. However, in some cases, you may be unsure of the right thing to do. The standards outlined in this code are intended as a guide to making the right choice. If you have questions or are unsure, refer to the actual policy or ask for guidance before you act. The following 7 basic principles summarize the PHS Code of Conduct. These principles are the broad standards which govern the conduct of PHS's directors, officers, and all employees. Additional detailed policies and procedures necessary to ensure compliance with the intent of these principles have also been adopted and distributed. All employees are required to follow the standards and procedures detailed in these policies. A conflict of interest is defined as a direct or indirect financial or self-serving interest in the matter under consideration so that the member is not free from personal bias, prejudice, or preconceived notion as to make it possible for the member to consider objectively the evidence presented and base a decision solely on such evidence. Circumstances such that a member finds it difficult, if not impossible, to devote himself or herself to a consideration of the matter with complete energy, loyalty, and singleness of purpose to the general public interest. It is everyone's responsibility to ensure that PHS's mission to its patients and community are not compromised by any relationship or other conflicts of interest. Additionally, it's the responsibility of each employee to report any situation that appears to be in conflict of interest. There are many examples of conflicts of interest. These include relationships with individuals or patients, or could arise from other sources such as stock transactions, outside employment, loans, real estate transactions, gifts, or competitive information. Regardless of the source, all situations of existing or potential conflicts of interest should be reported. All business relationships with vendors, providers, and others must be free from improper offers or solicitations of gifts and favors or other improper inducements. Business entertainment must fall within the following guidelines. Only entertainment of a minimal value may be provided to or accepted from providers and others. In this context, meals and entertainment with a value of less than $100 per person per occurrence and not in excess of $500 per year may be provided or accepted without review by the compliance officer. Regardless of value, any gift that influences or might appear to influence a person's choice of vendor or provider must be rejected. If there is doubt about whether a gift is appropriate, consult the compliance officer. It's the duty and responsibility of every employee who has knowledge or a good faith belief that a law, regulation, or PHS policy has been or may be violated to report that information promptly. Retaliation against employees who in good faith reports suspected noncompliance is strictly prohibited. Every attempt will be made to treat reports as confidential. Any employee who intentionally fails to report, discourages another from fulfilling his or her reporting obligation, or otherwise harasses, penalizes, or retaliates against another employee for fulfilling his or her reporting obligation shall be subject to disciplinary action up to and including termination. Please report suspected noncompliance internally prior to contacting any outside agency. PHS prefers reports first be made directly to an individual's supervisor or manager. However, in certain situations, an individual may feel uncomfortable discussing a particular situation with his or her supervisor and may make reports to any of the following: any supervisor or manager, PHS's compliance officer, also known as the Director of Operations Quality, or completing a compliance reporting form located in M-Files. You may omit your name and signature if you wish to report anonymously. Thank you for paying attention to this presentation. We hope you found this information helpful. If you have any questions about fraud and abuse or PHS's compliance policies, please contact Josh Larson, our designated compliance officer and Director of Operations Quality.